The final sort of poetry that I want to suggest to you is, I like to call it true expression or pure expression. And this sort of poetry is really the only sort of poetry that I actually like to read myself. I don't read much poetry. I like to write it, but I find that when I'm reading it, it has to be by someone that's a master of the craft, and it has to be a particular type of poetry that I like. And the sort of poetry that I like to read is this more sort of telling a story, telling a narrative as succinctly as possible, with, like, perfect word choice, or, like we said in the previous video, as perfect as they can get it. But not really caring for rhyme or structure, just expressing like a piece of reality, a moment of time, a pure thought. That's what I'm sort of going for. Now, I'm going to read you this with that build up, and you'll be like, it doesn't quite match that. It's never going to. It's what I'm aiming for. I'm not trying in this sort of poetry, this sort of pure expression or true expression poetry. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to get out as best as I can this moment, this event, this idea out of my head onto the page and have it there. Now, in terms of structure, it's free flowing. In terms of the words, it's free flowing, but I'm trying to be as succinct and clear with my words so that the person reads it and it's as brief as possible and evocative as possible with the words I'm trying to get across. So pull up the poem that says, I am constant change. Now, the backstory to this is I saw a meme pop up on Instagram that's basically said, I delete my posts because I'm not who I was 4 minutes ago. The idea being that you post something and then your mood changes and you don't feel like that person anymore. And I'm like, okay, I can work with this. And then bang, this thought just came. I am constant change. Who am I other than constant change? Thoughts come and go. Same with emotion, memory, and desire. I'm not who I am. I'm not who I was a moment ago. And who I am won't last. I am constant change. I am the thread of time. Birth to death, ever changing, ever growing, never the same. I am constant change. I accept this change. Embrace it. Lean into it. Therefore, I won't delete my past. It was me. Just as much as my desire to delete it. Who knows what I will think in 4 minutes? I am constant change. The idea being that I know that a part of me knows that the feelings, the emotions, the words, the things that I'm doing right now is one version of me. In the future, in 4 minutes, in a day, in a week, in a year, I'll look back and go, oh, I don't need to delete that. That's not me. But a different part of me knows that I am all of that. I am me in this moment. I am me then. I am me in the future. I am the flow of change. I am the change. So the stuff that I've done in the past, back to the poetry, why I don't revisit and edit and all that sort of stuff, is found in this poem, because that was me then. This is me now. I will be different in the future. If I'm in a bad mental state, who I feel I am is different to who I was when I'm posting something happy, right? I am that change. I am all of those things all at once. So I wanted this poem to express the idea that I am change, and then that's projecting that message across. And I wanted to basically sort of solidify it for myself that when I am in a bad state, that won't last. This too shall pass. But also when I'm in a good state, that won't last. This too shall pass. I am constant change. With this poem, with this style of poetry, this sort of pure expression style, have an idea in your mind and just let it come, let it flow, get it down on the page. Just don't worry about being as brief as possible. And once you've got it on the page, you'll look at it and there might be a few thoughts. Focus on one sort of thought of that free writing that you did and drill down on that. You've already got a base structure now, okay? Can you pull some words out? Can you replace a sentence with one word? can you make a paragraph of thought, or like a whole concept, into a couple of sentences, or one sentence, or one word, right? So, for example, I'm constant change, I'm the thread of time, birth to death. Birth to death implies every instance over the lifetime, yada, 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 yada. Like it's a deep, there's a lot of words that you could replace birth to death with, that birth to death works for. So it's about getting as small as possible. Now, you could go, I'm the thread of time, life, because life is from birth to death. But for me, the word life doesn't quite do the justice of the journey. Birth to death tells me something different to the word life. Do you see how I'm making those choices to go, okay, life sort of encapsulates what I'm meaning, but birth to death is the better word for that, okay? Even just looking back over this now as I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, I could change, I could tweak it, I could reduce it, I could make it a bit better, right? And that's that constant editing mind. Now, am I going to go back and tweak this? No. Am I going to record this video to change, to make it so I use the better version, or delete the little bit where I made a mistake? No, that's me. Sometimes I misread. Sometimes I would look back over and go, I want to tweak it. All of that's me. That whole thought process is expressed in the words, I am constant change.